I'm News4 Jax's Chief Meteorologist David Heckard. Well, we are putting the final days here on February on the board, which means it's time to head into meteorological spring. You may be saying to yourself, I thought spring doesn't start until late March. Well, it doesn't astronomically speaking, but in the weather community, for seasons, we look at entire calendar months. So winter season's considered December, January, February in meteorology, and the spring season's considered March, April, and May. So now's a good time to actually take a peek as to what the weather may end up being as we head into the spring season. Let's first off talk about what we've been dealing with so far this winter, and the headline has been the warmth. We had two record highs in December on the 7th and the 8th, and had it not been for that big cold snap we had right around Christmas time, temperatures on average in December would have likely been above average. They actually ended up being almost right at average in December. January, though, different storyline here. We were warm from start to finish, had four record highs, including on the 19th, the 26th, 30th, and the 31st, and we broke our all-time January record in Jacksonville, and then actually set the second highest number all-time in January as well. So the number one and number two high temperatures all-time in January were set in the month, or in the back end of January in 2023. And in February, it's been warm as well, but we've only had one record high. That being said, 17 days have featured above average temperatures in February. And I want to stress this verbiage right here. So far, we will likely get very close, if not break some records for the last few days of February. And we could even take a run at the all-time record in Jacksonville for February. So bottom line, the 3-month stretch has been very warm. What about as we move into spring? Well, it looks like that warmth is going to continue. You can see almost everybody in this map here, the entire Southeast, the entire state of Florida, all of Georgia, outlook for warmer than average conditions here. We do not see any stoppage whatsoever of the warmth as we move into March, April, and May. And again, this is not just a few weeks. This is the actual 3-month stretch here, all the way through May 31st from the Climate Prediction Center. Now, this does not mean it can't get cold. We still could have some chilly conditions, and as John mentioned in his newsletter last week, if you live in Southeast Georgia, it may still be a little early to plant some of that sensitive vegetation because we just can't rule out a freeze or some heavy frost going on. However, the likelihood of a deep, deep cold spell is becoming very unlikely, and the likelihood of a prolonged period of below average temperatures is becoming unlikely as we head into the spring season. This is going to be very good news in Jacksonville and Ponte Vedra for the Players' Championship, which happens in early March. Now, as we move into the precipitation outlook, a little bit different here. You can see this area of gray for much of the Southeast. That's where the Climate Prediction Center is forecasting average precipitation, but all of Northeast Florida, and a good deal of the Sunshine State, is forecast to be drier than average. That is kind of the trend line here because of the fact we're in this La Nina weather pattern, and that La Nina pattern often produces drier than average conditions in Florida. You have probably noticed, though, your grass is getting a little crunchy out there. That's not great news. We really need some rainfall in the spring season. That helps kind of bring down the threat for wildfires. It's something we'll have to be keeping a very close eye on as we head into April, May, and especially the month of June. So bottom line, if you've liked the warm weather so far this winter, you're probably going to like the weather heading into spring. I'm Assistant Chief Meteorologist David Heckard for Channel 4, the local station.